phone rang one day in 1995. It was my friend, Bashashi. And she said, "Are you going?" I said, "Going where?" "The Million Man March," she said. I had never heard of the Million Man March. And so I went and I did my research, and after I found out what it was, where it was going to be, I knew I had to be there. I called her back, I said, "Bashashi, I'm there, I'm going." I was a film student at the time, and I decided that something this historic, even though I was just a film student, I needed to preserve on camera. So I got a camera, I found a crew person to go with me, one of my students at school, Kenyan Michael Lette. And we took off, going to the Million Man March. Would there be a million men there? I didn't know. But I can tell you this right now. Attending that march changed my whole perspective of the world. If you've never been with a million like-minded people just like you, men, a million gathered together, I can't expect you really to understand what it was I felt that day, but it was spiritual. It was phenomenal. I finally felt like I belonged. Like I really and truly belonged. That I was accepted. That I was somebody, a part of this great sea of men. And we were all there for one purpose, to atone. So sit back, relax. I hope you feel what I felt that day, what Michael felt that day, what a million other black men felt that day at the Million Man March. Ooh, what a blessing.
Here, as throughout the nation, tens of thousands of our young men were killing each other, joining gangs, selling drugs every day. For the rest of the community, the church has been a sanctuary in the midst of this burgeoning hell, offering sanity in the midst of confusion and love in this valley of hate. We decided to go to church and find out what the Million Man March represented there. First AME has been on the forefront of many of the important issues facing African Americans in Los Angeles and throughout the nation. Reverend Jackson, one of First AME's many ministers, agreed to meet with us a day before we were to fly to Washington, D.C.
It's high time that African American males and African American, the public in general, comes together, not just all Christians, but we need to come together as Christian, Jews, Gentiles. You know, the people of the world need to come together. We need to come together and realize that if we're going to be successful in this world, then we need to do so as a unit. But if we're going to be successful as a people, then we must come together on one accord. And I believe this Million Man March on Washington will show the world that we are ready to come together, that we can set aside our religions, we can set aside our differences and come together on one accord. But first, we must discover within ourselves, when we speak of atonement, we must realize, first of all, who we are, what we are all about. There are many men in this country today that have not done a thing for their children except plant the seed. I believe the first step in atonement is for men to realize that there's more to being a man than making a baby. You must be in a position to take care of that child. That's the first step of atonement. There are many men in this world that have been satisfied with beating on women. They must realize that you do not have to be physical with a woman to prove that you're a man. You know, women have led African Americans from slavery. For that fact, from the Atlantic Passage, women have been in the forefront and have led the men all the way up through present. It's time now for African American males to take their rightful place. This is Scripture says there's a place for the man, and that is head of the household. Not necessarily in charge of the house saying, I am the man, you do as I say. No, I am the man. I will set the example. I will set the example for my wife. I will set the example for my children. I will lead the way as far as their advancement and advancement of my people. That's what this Million Man March is all about.
Well, thank you, Reverend Jackson. I really feel that I've learned a lot here today.
My pleasure.
You know, and I just I'm looking forward to the trip. Mike and I are going, and we know that you'll be with us in spirit.
We'll be with you in spirit and prayer. And when you return, you'll remember that it's only the beginning and that we can make a difference.
Okay.
Only if we come together as a body, we can definitely make a difference. God bless and keep you.
Hi, my name is Lina Sletching. I'm from Kenya. I was born in 1974, June the 6th. I came to America to study film, and tomorrow I leave for Washington, D.C., where I'm going to attend the 1 Million Man March. I was brought up in a family of, well, you know, African families are usually very big families, but my family was not very big. And my father, he started from practically nothing to what right now I could say he's something in the community. I come from a middle class. We have classes, like, not actually classes, but people still class themselves as high class, middle class. So I would say I come from a middle class. The main reason I decided I wanted to go for this march is it's going to be the biggest gathering of minorities, which like 1+1 from all states and all walks of America. And all minorities, not all, but a vast majority of minorities will all come together in one place, and they'll be the majority. In that one state, there'll be the majority on that day. And that's a historic thing. I want to be among the majority on that day, which is going to be my race.
I'm going to the Million Man March. It's been all on the news and everything. Thing that I've been kind of wondering about is what it really means to me. I mean, as a personal thing. What does a march mean to me? I know I have some atoning to do. I do. I guess I can't say I've been the best father in the world. Although I was blessed, my children love me.
we have to address the issues that have our community the way it is now. And what I'm hoping when I get to the march is that there's a magic there that happens to us as a group of individuals that lasts through the rest of our lifetime, that sends us back to our communities to really go in and, I mean, really do something positive, really save our black youth, because right now the kids are dying. Just like my baby, the kids are dying. It's like all we are empowered to do is to watch. There's no jobs in our community. There's no hope. There's little hope. That's another thing this march represents to me, is hope. Faith, but hope. Feels like it's engendering a rebirth of hope in the people that are witnessing it, especially the black people, the men, the women, the children. They're all in awe right now. All eyes are going to be on Washington, D.C., on what we are there to do.
We're finally here after a brief stay in Chantilly, Virginia, where we booked a room because we were led to believe Washington, D.C. was just across the bridge. We soon discovered that the bridge they described to us on the phone was actually 30 miles away. There are no rooms left available to rent anywhere. They are all gone because of the Million Man March. We are here in search of the spirit of the Million Man March. What makes this march so important that 1 million men would gather together from all over the nation to be seen and heard. Michael's friend, Kareem, lived in Washington, D.C. He agreed to pick us up. When available, he would supply us with much-needed transportation. For this, we were very grateful. We received word that a group of people were producing a seminar on the African Holocaust to be held the day before the Million Man March. Kareem has agreed to take us to the seminar in his van. As we travel to the site of the seminar, we listen to his radio in an attempt to discover what the mood of the Capitol was the day before the Million Man March. Here is the Washington, D.C. rarely seen. The Washington where gang violence has risen 249% in the last 5 years.
A powerful African-American leader believed by some to be promoting a divide between the races is now sitting center stage. In his most ambitious
Here in our nation's capital, the death toll amongst our young men has been staggering.
The 62-year-old Farrakhan is said to be one of the most magnetic yet divisive black leaders in the United States. Nonetheless, Farrakhan's methods have proven successful in the past. Most are either for or against the Nation of Islam leaders' philosophies.
You made a statement a moment ago that the involvement of Jews in slavery is a myth. Mr. Parker, have you not read any books on the subject? The library is loaded with
Bob,
it.
even if you, and I even said a few moments ago, even if at our most cynical, and apparently you don't even have to be cynical to embrace that knowledge, even if you wanted to suggest, okay, it's indeed possible that Jews may have played a part in the thing.
It's a fact.
Hey, okay, and even if you want to buy it, I don't believe it, Bob, but you obviously do, and I don't think anything I say I'm going to change your mind. Now, Bob, okay, I'm going to let you talk, Bob, but I want you to just shut up for a minute, and I'll put you back on the air.
There is no doubt that our Jewish brothers, like our Portuguese brothers, and our Spanish, French, and English brothers, yes, Even our own African ancestors benefited from selling us into slavery.
Now, Bob, what about the blacks, the Africans, the native Africans who also sold their African brothers into slavery? Go ahead, defend yourself.
No, I don't have to defend. I just want to rebut what you're saying. Mr. Parker, let me suggest something to you. We have a library at Howard where I teach. It's called the Founders Library. And you have a Moreland room there that is loaded with books on that subject, written not by black historians, but written by Jewish historians, documenting the heavy involvement of Jews in...
We know. Okay, Bob, you haven't answered my... Go ahead, because I told you I'd give you a chance. Go ahead.
All right, okay. And I just don't see how you can get up there and make that statement. That has become a big issue, particularly last year, when anytime anybody accused Jews of being involved in slavery, you were immediately branded an anti-Semitic.
The Million Man March is the subject wherever you go. The airwaves are flooded with discussions. Radio, television, and newspapers. Emotions are running high. There is no escape. We are here to meet the people who organized this Black Holocaust Convention, because we are almost certain that it was planned to coincide with the Million Man March. Perhaps we can get a few interviews. The city is moody, especially the weather. Doesn't seem to want to make up its mind. One minute the sun shines, the next comes the showers. Here in Washington, D.C., things are moody for other reasons as well. It feels as though hundreds of thousands of black men are descending on the city from all over the world.
We're here at McKinley Tech High School, where tonight at the auditorium at about 7 o'clock, we have some guest speakers who come and talk about the Black Holocaust Nationhood Conference.
Right behind me is the auditorium at McKinley High, and we'll be going in there in a minute. We're here early, and it looks like a few people have shown up, so we're going to try to see if we can get an interview. Hey, we're glad to be here.
This is my husband's original design here for the Million Man March.
For dignity and justice. Yeah, that's what our documentary is really about.
And this is our new baby in here.
That's your new baby?
Go ahead, girl.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of what our documentary is about. Like, we're in search of what is the Million Man March really about, right?
It's about. I really think it's about African family. That's the ultimate goal. African family. You know, it's talking about rebuilding our African families. That's what the gist of it is.
I think you're right.
The man is the head of the family, right?
Right.
All right now.
Okay, so we had to head it up. I know you've had your family.
Yeah, right.
That's great. That's great.
We were early for the Black Holocaust Convention, and the people were still setting up. So we decided to take a tour of the Washington, D.C. tourists usually come to see. The White House. The Washington Monument, the African obelisk standing at the center of the capital city of the United States of America. And we took with us Joseph. He was particularly interesting because Joseph traveled from London, England, to be a part of the Million Man March.
This is called Cleopatra's Needle. This obelisk is from ancient Egypt, and it was brought here from Egypt to America. Also, as you look around, you see many things remind you of ancient Egypt. I've traveled from London to come to this march. The reason why I've decided to come to this march was because I think it's very important that black men stand up and be counted, and that black men stand up and do the right thing. in this time, in this hour, that we have to send a message to the world that we are not going to be the negative image that's portrayed to us. We're not going to fit in that image, that we are children of God, and we have a right to be on the earth as well as anyone else, and that we are a people. We must come together now and lift up ourselves. So this is a beginning. This is a new beginning for us as a people. And when the black man start to lift up himself, stand up on his 2 feet, and have a backbone, then the black women will start standing up, and the children will start standing up. And that would mean us as a people, not just in America, but in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Antigua, St. Lucia, in Australia, in Europe, as well as in Africa. This is a message for the whole black world, you know. This is a message for the whole, I repeat that, this is a message for the whole black world. It's not just for America.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Davenport. I also attend Clark Atlanta University. I do not agree that marching is a way or a resolving factor to liberation and to the ending of oppression. Marches in the past and other things have been used as symbols to represent liberation. And the time has come that black people face up to the challenge of not representing liberation so much, but taking action upon liberation. I do believe in the unification of black people, and that is why I'm here at the march and participating in the activities. I have a couple of issues about the march, one being the registration for voting. I have great concern for that because I believe that the system, by registering people to vote, you're asking or you're implying that the system that currently exists that is benefiting our oppressors can somehow benefit us, the oppressed. And I'm a strong believer that a system that benefits one cannot benefit the other. I also have a problem with the separation of men and women. There is an important factor where men and women must be separated to understand and grow and learn within themselves, and I do agree with that. The reason people say that it is important for black men to come together is because black women have carried the burden for so long. My problem with that is not that I or my mom or my grandmother has carried the burden for so long, but the problem I have is that she's done it by herself. And so if we're talking about bringing the black people together, it would seem that we would make this effort a togetherness. We wouldn't separate the black man from the black woman still yet again. And it seems we're just doing the opposite. We're adding the same force in the opposite direction. And I don't know that we'll come to an even and equal point.
I'm Sean, 25 from Inwood, Long Island.
My name is Jeff. I'm also 25. As a matter of fact, just turned 25 a couple of days ago, within the last week. And I'm also from Long Island, New York. We're down for the march. It's been a long trip. We jumped on a bus yesterday afternoon around 3 o'clock, came down, and we've just kind of been here in the city, making our way around, making the best of a bad situation, trying to stick it out until Monday so we can be with our brothers and enjoy this march.
I think what makes our experience as far as the Million Man March so unique is the fact that we have no money. Whatever little bit of money we had, we scrapped it together and bought tickets to come down here, having just $20 for this lecture and tomorrow's lecture. We don't have a hotel room. We don't have anything. We've just
got each other, basically.
We've just been hanging around D.C. Last night we went to this really amazing party, and afterwards we just crashed in the park. And we've just been...
We woke up this morning, it was pouring down, raining. We walked for miles to get there. We walked for about 2 hours last night just to get to the party. And then we walked back at least that far to get to the store to get the tickets for this conference today. So and we were praying the whole way. We were running yesterday trying to get here and make sure we got tickets. So in that respect, I think we can definitely say that we are dedicated to the cause that's being upheld today,
Also to the knowledge that it will be receiving.
Right.
I think also with myself, the fact that this is a day of atonement really says a lot to me. I would like to develop a stronger relationship with my Creator, and I think the only way I can be able to do that is if I get some things off my chest. And I think being in the presence with about 1 million+ other brothers, because I know we'll definitely have more than 1 million brothers here, like-minded, seeing this as a holy day, a day for atonement, it'll give me a chance to maybe, take a few steps closer to him, and he'll take a few steps closer to me, and I'll be with my brothers. And so this is just, it's overwhelming. It's definitely an overwhelming experience.
But we have to really think, what exactly are we going to do the day after? I believe that us coming down here in unification and stuff like that is very good and much needed. But I'd like to see it as a tool to express the fact that we can be unified, a tool for networking, a tool for ideas and expressions to be shared, and a tool to get our minds working. This is the beginning, and this is it's the preliminary. It's not even the first step. It's a preliminary to the first step. The actual first step is action. And when we can stop always stating all the problems, because I think every black person in America knows what the problems are. And if they don't, then we're really going to have to work even that much harder.
My name is Dwayne Patterson. I'm from North Carolina A&T State University. And the reason that I'm here to participate in this Million Man March is to pretty much make a statement. I feel that it's a time for separation, and the idea and the concept of the Million Man March has created brain lock on the behalf of a lot of our people and a lot of Caucasians throughout the world. And with that brain lock, they've made statements and made political stances that they are against the march. And that is important, because for the last 20 years, there haven't been a formal statement from a lot of people about how they feel about being black here in America. And not just being black, but standing up for black people and standing up for the black family and doing what's right by our people. So the Million Man March is definitely an opportunity for that mindset to come out, letting it be exposed. I believe that light is the best disinfectant, and we have a lot of disease and a lot of sick thinking that has infested our community. So the Million Man March has been the focal point of the end of that disease, the end of that infection. We have started to do something that's good for a change. We can get a lot of people to go to step shows and go to concerts and striptease joints and et cetera, et cetera. But how many times have you seen black folks get together and do something positive and have a long-term effect on our people? Hardly ever.
I think this is a message from the Creator, saying, here is something that I'm giving to you, African people. If you don't pick up on what I'm offering to you, then your doom and destruction shall be.
True. And that's for me what this march is about. It brings me a little bit closer with the people that I identify with.
It's time for truth. That's it. A lot of people say a lot of things about Minister Farrakhan and a whole lot of other brothers, but you can't call him a liar. He speaks the truth. Just what we were speaking about, the whole situation in Los Angeles. People are angry, but the foundation of the society, foundation of this entire system has been nothing but lies, and that's why nothing can prosper from it. We're coming down here to hear some truth.
My name is Lamel McMorris, recent May 1995 graduate of Morehouse College, first year seminary student at Princeton Theological Seminary in Princeton, New Jersey, and we've reached a point in our history where it is time, not only because of the state of our communities, not only for Black America in general to revamp and revive itself, but for black men in particular. I'm of the belief that if you repair the black man in America, you repair the situation of blacks as a whole in this country. It is time to atone. Not just to our sisters in our community, especially if we consider the tremendous amount of single female-headed homes. It is time to atone to God. I believe that the gentleman, Minister Farrakhan, who has called for this march, that this march is even larger to him. And I disagree with those within the Christian community, considering that I am Christian, who have come out against this march over what is an important theological issue, but the theological issue does not outweigh the state of our community. So this is a very timely march, and I believe that it needs to happen. And I'm very saddened by the large amount of members of the black community and heads of other black organizations, especially some of our sisters in the struggle, who've come out against it and who do not realize the larger picture and have not taken into consideration where we really are and the state that we're in our communities, and why this march is so needed. So I'm here in support, but I'm also here to forge new leadership and to set a new vision and to go forth from this place revived and mobilizing black men around the country and around the world to make a difference.
This is a message for the whole black world, you know. This is a message for the whole, I repeat that, this is a message for the whole black world. It's not just for America. It's for the entire black race all over the planet. This is our time, this is our day, this is our hour. And we must send a message to the powers that be in the four corners of the earth that we are as people, we are going to stand up and we're going to do the right thing for ourselves, and we're going to lift up our race. And we're going to, as Marcus Garvey said, you know, he said Africa, the African race is creators, and that the Africans will build a civilization greater than any that ever existed before. So we are the creators of the new world. The so-called new world order is built upon righteousness, and the black man is the original man, he is the first man. Jah himself revealed and come forward and show I and I that God come black. So I and I don't really have to apologize to no one about this march. And I don't come to bow, and I come to conquer. And I come to conquer hell and death and destruction. And we come to conquer all the negative images that have been projected on us for the last 400 years. So with that, you know, I don't really have much more to say, but I hope this march will be a start, that black men start to come together and love each other. Love ourselves first, and then we'll be able to love each other. That we'll be a people again. That whether I go to Africa, whether I go to the Caribbean, whether I go to America, whether I go to Brazil, whether I go to Australia, wherever I go, I know my brothers are there. And they will accept me as a brother and love me as a brother. And I hope this message is sent to the four corners of the earth, that where black people are, this time, this day, this hour. Selassie I know, Selah.
It was late when the Black Holocaust Convention ended. Linus Michael and I went to the Greyhound bus station to wait for Kareem to pick us up.
Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after hearing thine teaching, God Lord.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So, brother, you're here at the Million Man March. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir?
Well, this is only we haven't went through with that now, see, because I'm speaking ahead of time, because I can't say exactly what all gonna be, but it'll be the Muslim March, in order that our people get a clear knowledge of what they see. And what they see in action is also in prophecy, when the saints go marching in. And these are the saints who came and paid the sacrifice of 400 years of slavery, no knowledge of self, their nationality, or their language, until the coming of Master Farad Muhammad raised up Elijah Muhammad to teach us back ourselves. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the owner, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe and the father of civilization. This is what we call the original. Out of dark came light. Out of the black man came all people.
Kareem could not pick us up from the Greyhound bus station until about 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Linus Michael and I were exhausted. When we got to Kareem's apartment, we showered and quickly fell into deep sleep, from which we would not awaken until well into the night. A half crescent hung in the sky as though it were a beacon, signaling the things to come this day. It was peaceful. and a spiritual feeling filled the air everywhere. Finally, it was time. Time for the Million Man March to begin.
It's a small but powerful group here right now. We are watching them build the dais in which the speeches will take place this morning.
Linus, Michael Letting, and I arrived at the site of the march shortly after 12 a.m. We would be amongst the first to arrive, and because of that, would witness many things unseen by millions of others who would view the Million Man March this day. A small group of a few hundred men already are gathered together. Huddling together in the cold night, the love emanating from their spirits seems to warm everyone who is there. It is apparent that the excitement of the march is growing. The darkness of the night will not allow us to see just how many men are gathered, but it feels as though there are at minimum several thousand now. Michael and I have heard a rumor that there are troops collecting on the Washington, D.C. border, and that the march will be attacked in the morning. Michael and I cannot determine if it is true, so we make a pact. We will continue shooting the march, even if one of us is injured or killed, in order to ensure that the truth, as it regards the events of this day, is told. Strong black men with their arms locked in unity. Here was a sight I had longed to see. It symbolized the true meaning of the march for me. Unity. It was strong and powerful, and the way we should always be as men. Over the last few years, drugs and gang violence in many of our communities made a moment like this seem impossible to ever happen again. As I watched these young black men standing shoulder to shoulder, arms locked together in unity, I felt a pride that I had not ever felt before as a black man in America. It was an awesome feeling that I don't think I will never forget. Reverend Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. is the national coordinator of the Million Man March. He arrives early and surveys the burgeoning fruit of his labor. The men are grateful for his presence, and they let him know. The time for the march to begin is rapidly approaching. I can feel their presence out there as well as here.
Linus Michael is excited to be here. He surveys the handiwork of the men who built the stage. I too am happy and ready for the day's festivities to begin.
The bomb-sniffing dogs are brought out to ensure the safety of the stage. They are an ominous reminder that the cost of African American freedom has been paid with injury and death, and that terrorism is the enemy of all who yearn to be free.
busloads of black men are arriving here from every state in America. The Houston, Texas delegation is organized and led by Deloyd Parker, founder of Houston's famed Shape Community Centers.
Without you, there's no you, there's no you. Without me, because we're all part of a family, of interdependence.
Y'all look so beautiful. I'm so happy to see y'all.
Oh yeah, it's been wonderful.
Man, I'm telling you, the city is electrified. It's on fire. You hear you right on time. This is gonna be history, y'all. All right? We're making history.
There are at minimum hundreds of thousands of men gathered now. I can feel their presence out there as well as here. I am ready for this march to begin. We all had waited for so very long, anticipating the moment the Million Man March would begin, when suddenly it happened. The moment had arrived for the start of the Million Man March.
I bear witness there is no God but Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. I bear witness there is no God but Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to thee, Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Master of the day of requital, thee alone do we serve, and to thee do we beseech for thine aid. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray. Amen. Thank you, Brother Ahmed. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Thank you, Brother Ahmed Tijani. Upon thine altar, the Reverend Robert Smith, New Bethel Baptist Church, Detroit, Michigan, will now lead us in prayer. Dear God, we thank you for bringing us to this seat of power, this seat of world power, demonstrating that your power is above all power. For the powers here have not wished us well. They brought us here, took our names, took our humanity, degraded and discriminated against us, took our wives, took our children, enslaved, degraded us, enslaved us to the point that we adopted slave mentalities. And even when they told us we were free, we had no direction. We had no hope. But Lord, your power is above all power. And even when man means one thing, you can take what he has meant for evil and turn it to good. In spite of how they have treated us, we're here today. In spite of what they've done to us over the years, we're here today. In spite of all the injustices and indignities and all the evil things put upon us, somehow or another we've lifted ourselves to the point that we are here in spite of the fact they don't want us here. We are here anyway. They've done everything to keep us out of here and away from here. But you, oh God, you, oh God, nobody but you, God, has made it possible so that we are here in this hour, and we cannot be ignored, and we will not be denied. We thank you that you brought us here. Catholics and Methodists and Baptists and Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims, but all of us are black-skinned as black men, determined to go back to our communities and make everybody in the community realize that we are not our own problem, but we are our only solution. And we can do all things through Christ which strengthens us. In thy Son Jesus' name, let every man leave convicted and sentenced to the task of liberating his mother, his sister, his family, his mother, his father, liberating them from the shackles put upon them by the evil oppressors. Shackles of drug addiction, shackles of ignorance, shackles of violence. And let us be able to see through the guns and the drugs that they put in our community. And let us rise above all of their evil intentions. In thy Son Jesus' name, let us fight and heed not the wound. Let us give and count not the cost. Let us labor and ask no reward except thy presence. For with thy presence, all things are possible. Amen. 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 We are one people. In that spirit and on that note, as a salute to our ancestors, will you please receive Melvin Deal and the Heritage African Dancers and Drummers? Will you please? We are now going to pour libation to our ancestors in the oneness and the unity of this occasion. And I invite the elders of our community to draw near at this time in order that we might pour libation to our ancestors. But we are one this day. We are one in the one God who has given us the strength and the bravery to come forth and to confront this world with an army of peace soldiers, not with guns, but with our hearts and with our minds, that we might leave this place redeemed.
It surprised me to learn from Michael that the pouring of libations was an ancient African ceremony that crossed many African cultural lines. For myself, and possibly for many others attending the march, it was the first time we had witnessed and/or participated in such a ceremony designed to honor our ancestors.
Have a culture, have something that, being cultured is, there are things I wouldn't do because culture says don't do that, don't do this. So my having a culture avoids me from doing certain things. So my advice will be educated, be cultured, and believe in God.
Assalamu alaikum. We want you to take a minute, black nation of the black man. We want you to lift your voices up and let the world hear that you are here today, that they want to hear from you. Lift your voices and let the world hear your voice, great black man. Let them hear you. Let them hear your sound. Let them hear your cry. Let them know that you're here today. They said that this could not be done. They said it would not be done. They said we couldn't do it. They said Christian and Muslim, and we could not do it. They said agnostic and atheist, we could not do it. But we heard a voice called into the masses of the black nation. The voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was given a vision. Let them know that you stand with the voice of God in the person of the Honorable Minister of God.
To me right now, what I'm looking for in the march is the spiritual connection with one another. Now, I think that's a pretty high goal to shoot for.
Black nation, shall we be divided? Let the world know we will never be divided. Let the world know we will never be divided. Ever, ever, ever again. I thank you, Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Benjamin Chavis. Let's give him a great round of applause. Thank you. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. My dear brothers, black men, strong black men, upright black men, sober black men, together black men, unity black men, freedom black men, justice black men. Welcome to the Million Man March. We're not going to let anyone play the numbers game with us today. Before the sun came up, we had over 100,000. Now that the sun is up, we have over 300,000 people. There are hundreds of thousands more on the way. We're going to have a good day today. This is the day that the Lord hath made. And we're called to celebrate what God has done, what God is doing, and what God will do. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. God bless you.
Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. It was at that moment that I realized, in the midst of the hundreds of thousands of brothers that were chanting, that there was a spirit that has brought us all together, here, in this place, at this time, for this reason. It was the spirit of love for one another, and redemption, peace and understanding, reconciliation and atonement. It was a powerful spirit, blessed this day by God Almighty Himself. Although it was still morning, it was gratifying to see so many black men cared enough to stand up and come to the march. It was clear that atonement was not the only reason for this march. Recently, the airwaves had been overrun with what felt like racist black male bashing by the press because of the acquittal of O.J. Simpson for murder. But the most chilling information of all were the allegations that the CIA were responsible for funneling drugs and guns to the gangs and black communities nationwide in order to finance their war in Nicaragua.
Brothers, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And one thing we know for sure, somewhere, somebody's missing 1 million brothers to work today. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March.
This is a special choir, formed and named the Million Man March Choir. It is comprised of black men from every area in life.
It has been said that being black in America is hazardous to your health. Black people in America have a 32% higher death rate from cancer, a 38% higher death rate from heart disease. We have the highest death rate from prostate cancer of any male group on earth. We have a 132% higher death rate from diabetes, an 80% higher death rate from stroke, a 176% higher death rate from kidney disease. But God will not leave us alone. God has promised.
The health of black men in America has always been at far greater risk than that of their white counterparts. The knowledge of and dissemination of health care information is crucial to staying well and maintaining a healthy and productive life.
Black man, heal the land. Started.
Where's our bag?
Brothers and sisters.
Who's sitting on it? Oh, okay.
Black man.
I'm doing okay. She's not really worried about rolling right now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
I'm pleased to announce that our count at 10 a.m. is over.
These were the words the men had yearned to hear. It was important for these men to accomplish something of this magnitude together. Finally, black men were able to exult in the spiritual and physical success that only the unity of 1 million men could achieve.
People of the world need to come together. We need to come together and realize that if we're going to be successful in this world, then we need to do so as a unit. But if we're going to be successful as a people, then we must come together on one accord. And I believe this Million Man March on Washington will show the world that we are ready to come together, that we can set aside our religions, we can set aside our differences and come together on one accord.
It is called the Million Man March, but it could not have been pulled off without the blessings of the women. The women speakers at the march are well known and well suited to the task of inspiring the men gathered here. They are welcomed with loud applause and praise by the voices of a million men.
Washington, D.C., to make sure we come to the seat of power where promises are made. And we hope that they are made where men and women deliberate with a racist-free mind.
My name is Tainara Mohammed, and I am the wife of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam in America. I have waited for this day all my life to see our brothers, our uncles, our husbands, our friends come together as a family and take the responsibility of repairing our whole life, our social order, and our community and our nation. We have come to a most momentous and historical period in our history. We have come to the fulfillment of a great prophecy.
And I will always work for human rights for all people. However, as an African-American woman, I am proud, applaud, and support our men in this assembly. I would like to have male students of the Pathway Free join me here and wave their hands, but I don't think they're here right now.
I am here because you are here. I'm glad that you are here because so much is said negative about the Black family.
Dr. Dorothy Height has been a guiding light for the civil rights movement over several decades. She is also credited with influencing President Dwight D. Eisenhower to desegregate schools, and President Lyndon B. Johnson to make black political appointments in the 1960s, at a time when both ideas were considered controversial.
And I salute you because you are the demonstration that there are strong African American men who are not only our leaders, but who are working in all of our communities.
Thank you all and good afternoon. 32 years ago, many of our people came to this Capitol to peacefully petition for the redress of their grievances. 32 years later, we stand before these same monuments in an effort to re-demonstrate our commitment to one another and our commitment to our cause. And what we want is a kind of freedom.
Danny Bakewell represents the true entrepreneurial spirit of black men in America. While he has served as the president of the Brotherhood Crusade, a nonprofit that has served Los Angeles' minority communities with recognized success, it's amazing that he was also able to manage a very successful real estate business.
What we will do for this nation has got to know that when black folks get off the job and come together, we are a force that they've got to deal with. We demand what is ours. We may not be in every congressional district, but because of you, we are in every bedroom throughout these United States. Look at each other today and remember that because of you, you have made us a more powerful people, not for you, but your children, your grandchildren, and for America.
Suddenly, the march demonstrated that God was merciful and forgiving indeed. Gang leaders from all over the nation appeared before the assemblage together, shoulder to shoulder, as brothers. And what followed was magical and touching to us all. Their gesture this day would save the lives of countless young black males nationwide in the days and years to come.
In 1981, we formed a gang troop. Some people said that it was a myth. We come before you, our black brothers and sisters, to say, forgive us. We come for forgiveness and atonement to reconcile our differences right here on this stage. We also saying that we are out of order with God. That we have to begin to get in order with God, so we try to get in divine order with God, because if we out of order, you cannot teach if you're out of order. So if you're out of order, then you can't move forward or anything. So we are here to say, we're going to kick off November 1st a national campaign to stop the violence, to stop the killing. Domestic killing doesn't make a difference. Beating on the women, it ain't gonna happen no more. Killing black brothers, it ain't gonna happen no more. We're tired of the killing. It's gonna stop, it will stop, and it must stop. It is nation time again in America. We seek your forgiveness for allowing your babies to lie in the street with that yellow tape draped around them. We seek your forgiveness, black woman, for not being present.
These gang leaders standing together come from the four corners of America, and they stand together in symbolic and real peace and harmony.
Before God. Black man, I'd like to speak to my brothers out here from all the way from New York to Los Angeles. As I represent South Central Los Angeles on the West Coast, come 1,000 miles. I'd like to see some fences in there as we stay on the West Coast. Black man, can you hear me? I can't hear you, black man. I can hear your concert. Black man, can you hear me for the spirit of the long live the Million Man March? Black man, I come to you with much love. As we brothers on the West Coast made peace, me myself, I was taking lives, but now I'm saving lives. And for all you guys out there, it's black men that knocked us, told us we was thugs, hoodlums, menace to society, that we have tattoos, when beaten up to life. My name is Percy Harris, represent the west side of Los Angeles, California. I'd like to say to you young brothers out there, we standing right here to atone to everybody today. But what about tomorrow? When you go home, I challenge each and every one of y'all, tell the young brothers, put down the guns, put down the drugs, and pick up their lives. Peace. I am delighted to stand here before you today to represent to you that the church, thousands strong gathered here today, together with millions here, stand in solidarity with all of the brothers and sisters who have come from afar. The Bible gives me one message to give to you today. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves, and after you humble yourself, pray to Almighty God, and seek my face, turn from your wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and God will forgive our sins, and God will heal our land. Our land is sick. The people in it are sick. The people who responded after the O.J. Simpson case were sick. Now we come here today to tell you that we did not come here on
It was gratifying to see a coalition of black ministers standing in support of the march. The church has always been a leader in important matters involving the black communities of America, and their presence here this day gave the Million Man March immediate credibility of being an event needed by men and blessed by God.
Put down your crime, put down that which is wrong, put down that which is evil, and let us lift up our heads unto the hill from which our help
God bless you for coming today to turn toward God, to humble ourselves, and to receive healing. A reporter asked me yesterday, before I preached at Union Temple for Brother Willie Wilson, why are you here? He thought that was a tough question. The tough question would have been if he had come to Atlanta and caught me sitting in my desk where Martin Luther King sat and had to ask me, why is it you are not in Washington? That would have been the tough question. He said, stand up, black man. I know it's hard to stand when you're been shackled, but stand up, black man. I know it's hard to stand when you've been beaten and bruised, but stand up, black man. Let your children, let your daughters, let them all over the world see us stand up together. We all live on one block. We may have different houses, but it's all the same block. Elijah Muhammad's house is on that block. Martin Luther King's house is on that block. Alana Karenga's house is on that block. But let me tell you something, when you set the block on fire, I don't have time to look at other houses' videos. It's time for all of us to come out together and save the block of black folk in America. Some of us will stand up and fight. Some of us won't switch. Some of us won't buckle or bow. As James Brown said, some of us rather die on our feet than live on our knees.
Maya Angelou is one of our great black poets in the tradition of Rita Dove, Amiri Baraka, Nikki Giovanni, and Langston Hughes. This day, the poet shined her love, grace, talent, and knowledge on the crowd before her. We responded in kind with love.
The night has been dark, and the walls have been steep. The hells we have lived through and live through still have sharpened our senses and toughened our will. The night has been long. This morning I looked through your anguish right down to your soul. I know that with each other we can make ourselves whole. I looked through the posture and past your disguise and see your love for family in your big brown eyes. I say, clap hands and let's come together in this meeting ground. I say, clap hands and let's deal with each other with love. I say, clap hands and let us get from the low road of indifference. Clap hands, let us come together and reveal our hearts. Let us come together and revive our spirits. Let us come together and cleanse our souls. Clap hands, let's leave the cream. Stop impostoring in our own mystery. Clap hands, call the spirit back from the ledge. Clap hands, let us invite joy into our conversation, courtesy into our bedrooms, gentleness into our kitchen, care into our nursery. The ancestors remind us, despite the history of pain, we are going on people who will rise again, and still we rise.
Let me greet you in numbers exceeding 1.5 million on the Mall of Washington, D.C. with the greetings of peace and brotherly fraternity of Assalamu Alaikum. Brothers, we ask that you, at this time, accept greetings from all of our brothers and sisters from around the globe. We have been in touch via satellite and telecommunication with brothers and sisters from Africa, and they send their greetings. They're watching you right now on satellite in the South Pacific. They're watching you in the Caribbean. They're watching you in Europe. A black boy in home Italy is turning on his television and looking at you, and you gotta wave at your brothers all over the planet and give them a big shout out from Washington, D.C. in the sight of the million-man club. Let us bring to you our sister, attorney Hayes Williams.
There were several famous black women leaders who came out publicly against the march. Thank God Dr. Faye Williams was not amongst them. She instead became a national organizer for the event and a dedicated cheerleader for black men that day.
You know, there's an African proverb which says, it is the women who hold up the sky. How did we do, my brothers, up the sky this afternoon? But I have the feeling that from this moment forward, it's going to be a whole lot easier to hold up the sky, because with our God and with you, our brothers, we're going to not only hold up the sky, but we're going to lift up the sky for all of our brothers and sisters for whom the sky has already fallen. My sisters and I have waited for this day. We have cried for this day. We have hoped for this day. We have prayed for this day. And we have worked for this day. And we did not bow to any of our detractors because we knew that this was the right thing to do.
We know we've arrived here at the mall at a very crucial time when over 60% of black households are headed by single females. And when most of us grow up in a home where our father, if he is present at all, is a distant, shadowy figure on the horizon of the home front. But we now have an example of a young black brother who's with us all the way from Chicago, wants to come and present something to us on behalf of all of the fathers that we are and shall be in the future. He comes to us from Chicago, Illinois. He's known by many of you for his sterling renditions of the words of great black worthies in speech and in oratory. Let us bring now our brother to the podium, Brother Allende Baptiste from Chicago, Illinois.
My grandfathers, my fathers, my brothers, I lift up my voice and raise it high, telling the stories of your children's cries. For our ability to survive the onslaught of the enemy's drugs, guns, and alcohol, his prison and his killing fields, depends directly on whether you are willing to stand up and resist the outrages that are being heaped upon us as a people and build a new society. Yes, the task is difficult. The odds are against you. But you must organize to find a way or make your own way. You must change today so that tomorrow may dare to be different. And when you have fought back and regained your pride, when you have won some battles, when you are able to tell the stories of your heroism, when you can pass on to your young the tradition of struggle through examples of your having stood up for a better tomorrow, when you take control of our institutions, our media, our schools, when you maximize our economic resources towards our own benefits,
Our children, the children of the Million Man March, served as a reminder that we as men have a great responsibility to nurture and to protect them and to always provide the love they seek from us and simply to be good fathers.
Power March, I know it's all for me. I represent the black woman of the 21st century. I am Aisha and Keisha, Tamara and Jan, Kenya, Matima, and Rosa Patrice. I'm everyone's daughter and everyone's sister and everyone's friend and everyone's niece.
To all those who want to be called Daddy, I need your strength. To all those who want to be called Pops, I need your respect. To all those who want to be called Big Brother, I need your courage. To all those who want to be called Grandpa, I need your wisdom and legacy.
We bring to you at this time a brother who's no stranger to any of us anywhere on the planet. A man whose cultural contribution ranges all the way from fingertips part 2 to conversation piece. He's a brother who comes throughout the musical tradition, but always brings us an uplifting word from God in the form of music. Let us welcome our brother, the great Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder's song, Happy Birthday inspired people throughout the United States and proved instrumental in getting Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday approved by Congress as a national holiday. To have Stevie Wonder at the march was like royalty appeared and stood with the millions.
I cannot visually see you, but I can see your spirit. And I can feel your presence. I'm here today to share just a few words. These are the words that I would like to share with you from Conversation Piece. Staring right at 2018, as if mankind's atrocities to man has no history. But just a glance at life in 2000 BC, we find traces of man's inhumanity to man. There's no mystery. All for one for all. There's no way we shall bring this time unless we heed the call. Be for you, you for me. There's no chamber for salvation unless the conversation's peace. I love you. God bless you. Why do we march?
Jesse Jackson was one of the first black men that I knew of that actually ran for president of the United States of America. He never made it past the primaries. Still, in his own inimitable way, I believe he pioneered the road for the ascendancy to the presidency of Barack Obama.
As less intelligent than we are, less hard-working than we work, less universal than we are, less patriotic than we are, and more violent than we are. Why do we march? We're less able to borrow money in a system built on credit and risk. San Diego, California, 30,000 mortgage loans, 29 to black. Why do we march? Because we're trapped with second-class schools and first-class jails. Maulana Karenga. Abadi Gang. On behalf of our organization, us and the Million Man March and Day of Absence, we say, welcome. You found your family in a peaceful place, and we wish for you blessings without number and all good things without end. And we bear witness as an African people that as our beginning was great and good, so shall our development throughout eternity be if we dare struggle, speak truth, do justice, and walk in the way of right. We've waited a long time. I know who you're waiting for. We all want to hear from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we're going to bring him right up. One of these holy days of atonement and reconciliation. From the very beginning, we have said that we want black men to take a greater responsibility for the uplift, for the nurture, and for the care of our families and our communities. While it will be a great honor for me to present the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, I'm going to introduce his son to do that. And so, sisters and brothers, it gives me great pleasure and great honor to present to you our brother, a strong soldier, a strong black man, the Assistant Supreme Captain of the Freedom of Islam, Brother Mustafa Farrakhan.
I think any son would be proud to introduce his father to a crowd of millions. The pride was apparent as Mustafa Farrakhan introduced his father and mentor to the men of the Million Man March.
The man that God has given this vision to. The vision, the people will perish. And I say to you that my Father is here to speak to you. So listen to him very carefully. I bring to you my leader, my teacher, my guide, my father, your brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let us receive.
Excuse me, I just want to get one little quick shot. I just want to get one little quick shot and stand up, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, right there.
Bend down. Quickly take that shot.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank him for his prophets and the scriptures which they brought. We thank him for Moses and the Torah. We thank him for Jesus and the gospel. We thank him for Muhammad and the Quran. Peace be upon these worthy servants of Allah. I greet all of you, my dear and wonderful brothers, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. I would like to thank all of those known and unknown persons who worked to make this day of atonement and reconciliation a reality. My thanks and my extreme gratitude to the Reverend Benjamin Chavis and to all of the members of the national organizing committees, to all of the local organizing committees, to Dr. Dorothy Hyde and the National Council of Negro Women, and all of the sisters who were involved in the planning of the Million Man March. Of course, if I named all those persons whom I know helped to make this event a reality, it would take a tremendous amount of time, but suffice it to say that we are grateful to all who made this day possible. But really and true, all thanks, all praise, all honor, all glory belongs to God. For this is the day that the Lord has made. So we are here rejoicing in this day. Now, where are we gathered? We're standing at the steps of the United States Capitol. I'm looking at the Washington Monument and beyond it to the Lincoln Memorial. And beyond that, to the left, to your right, the Jefferson Memorial. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of these United States, and he was the man who allegedly freed us. Abraham Lincoln saw in his day what President Clinton sees in this day. He saw the great divide between black and white. Abraham Lincoln and Bill Clinton see what the Kerner Commission saw 30 years ago when they said that this nation was moving toward two Americas.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was the keynote speaker, and he delivered a speech that was not only revealing but taught the minds and fed the spirits of the nearly 2 million men gathered there before him. All of our film had been shot. We had no more film to capture the rest of Minister Farrakhan's exhilarating speech. So we just listened and enjoyed and learned. It was now approaching 7 p.m. Linus Michael and I had stood in that same spot from 12 a.m. midnight, some 19 hours. Well, there's one thing left to be said. Though many in the news media had predicted that the Million Man March would be about hate, the men who attended showed the world that it was really about love. It was about black men standing up and publicly declaring love for each other, their families, and their right to exist as men of God. It was about being able to forgive themselves and others. It was about atonement and a new commitment to become better men. It was about showing the world that they were not who they were portrayed to be by the press, but a deeply spiritual people. Yes, there was anger, love, hope, fear, and charity. But the greatest of these was love. The mass genocide that had reached critical mass in black communities nationwide due to drugs, gang violence, and greed subsided, and the stage was set for black men once again to view themselves as brothers. Not only to themselves, but brothers to all people throughout the world.
Now, brothers, in closing, I want you to take this pledge. When I say I want you to say I, and I'll say your name. I know that there's so many names, but I want you to shout your name out so that the ancestors can hear it. Take this pledge with me. Come on, brother. Say with me, please. I say your name. Pledge that from this day forward, I will strive to love my brother as I love myself. I say your name. From this day forward, will strive to improve myself spiritually, morally, mentally, socially, politically, and economically for the benefit of myself, my family, and my people. I say your name. Pledge that I will strive to build business, build houses, build hospitals, build factories, and enter into international trade for the good of myself, day forward, I will never raise my hand with a knife or a gun to beat, cut, or shoot any member of my family or any human being except in self-defense. I say your name, pledge from this day forward, I will never abuse my wife by striking her, disrespecting her, for she is the mother of my children and the producer of my future. I say your name, pledge that from this day forward, I will never engage in the abuse of children, little boys or little girls, for sexual gratification. But I will let them grow in peace to be strong men and women for the future of our people. I say your name, will never again use the B word to describe any female, but particularly my own black sister. I say your name, pledge from this day forward that I will not poison my body with drugs or that which is destructive to my health and my well-being. I say your name, pledge from this day forward, I will support black newspapers, black radio, black television. I will support black artists who clean up their acts to show respect for themselves and respect for their people and respect for the ears of the human family. I say your name, will do all of this. So help me God. Well, I think we all should hold hands now.
Are standing together with love will make the angels sing. There may not be much more time to let our good thoughts shine. Evil ones plan to rape the earth and make us all feel blind. But I have my faith in you, 'cause I know what's inside. The power of love in you is too great for us to hide. The love in your mind was made to set us free. The power of love supreme in you and me. There's a reason we have our love to give and share today. The love in our mind will surely lead the way. The love in our mind will surely lead the way.
قل أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط